Hi guys, and welcome to Blogspot today. So this week we're going to do a very special episode on real estate. So we're going to talk about one company in particular called Harbor, and then we're going to look at some of the trends that are going on in real estate and how companies like Zillow are basically going ahead and disrupting the entire space in ways that people did not think were possible. So let's jump straight in. So let's start with Harbor. So that's Harbor. It's a company based out of US, and it's a platform to sell and buy real estate. So what Harbor's USP is that it gives you access to quality institutional private investments like commercial real estate and investment funds at lower minimums, allowing you to invest in opportunities previously out of reach. So what this exactly means is that with Harbor, you are able to go ahead and buy prime real estate in cities like New York for as little as $500 or $200. And how this is all possible is it's basically tokenized. So tokenization of real estate means you take a whole property and you break it up into small pieces and you represent those small pieces using a digital asset. And that's pretty much how tokenization works. So no one really owns the entirety of it, but everyone owns a little bit of it. And that's how it becomes really cheap for you to go ahead and buy investments. But the appreciation or the benefit of that is accrued to everyone equally. So the property as a whole, when it appreciates in value, everyone gets benefited in the same way. So that's pretty much how it works, and creating smaller bits of a large property that probably costs millions of dollars increases its liquidity almost immediately, because first of all you have a lot of people who are not able to afford that particular property or that real estate, but they want to invest in it, and with whatever little money they have you can find a lot of people and quickly get financing for that asset. And this also provides easier access because it's a digital token. So that doesn't mean that you're tied down to a particular geographical location where the person has to come down and look at the property. Instead, if you're investing small amounts, it is possible that some people might think that yes, I do not have to physically go down and look at it, but I am interested in investing money overseas in real estate. So this is something that will give them easier access. And finally, all of this is secured through blockchain. So we'll talk about that at the end of this, but it does provide security in a basis. So they're trying to go for all-in-all, one-stop shop platform for real estate. So how does this exactly work for sellers? So normally for sellers, the private investments they make are often sold at severe discounts, because at a certain point when people are looking to sell, it's very difficult to find the right buyer at the right time, especially if you're trying to sell on an emergency. So sometimes when you're desperate and you really need to get rid of the property, it becomes very difficult to find a fair market value for it in time. And even if you do not want to sell it, or you don't have any distress to sell it, even then finding a buyer with the right price takes a lot of time and a lot of patience, and this is a very laborious process at the moment. So with this technology that Harbor is providing, it makes it a lot easier for sellers to go ahead and sell their property at the face value, because they no longer have to convince one person. They can set the rate and a lot of people can come in and look at it, and it's pretty much a buyer's market instead of going and trying to find sellers. Harbor also helps reduce the friction to trade. So now you're not only selling to people in and around your area, but you are selling to people all over the world. And this obviously provides you the ability to go ahead and say that, hey, look, why if it is basically a worldwide phenomenon, then it can be trading 24/7. It can be going to lots of different buyers and sellers, and it could pass as many hands as it wants. It's not really my concern. I just need my money for a fair value for my property, and that's what Harbor can provide you in a very seamless fashion, where you don't really have to do the tedious job of waiting and finding good particular buyer who is exactly suited to your needs. For buyers, this provides a benefit to trade 24/7, 365 days a year, because it can be listed in different exchanges, and you can go ahead, and these are all licensed trading platforms by Harbor, so they'll pretty much go ahead and tell you that yes, you can trade our assets on this platform. And also basically this allows them to look at the prevailing market conditions, give up fair value for homes. And for buyers, it's a market that just does not get any better, because you don't again have to go and check the property. You don't really have to rely on finding the best deal for you, and you don't really have to worry about looking at raising the total capital by yourself to go ahead and buy your dream property. You can go ahead and invest in it, just through tokenization. So let's look at some of the services that Harbor provides. So first of all, they allow you to raise capital on their website or their platform as they call it. So it provides an end-to-end platform where you can help raise funds faster, you can raise them at a lower cost. You can also syndicate investments far more widely and access more capital and in a more broader fashion than you could do before. And this is again from a potentially global investor pool. You can also they also provide a superior investor experience with confidence that Harbor has all of the critical compliances that you need already secured on their network. So you don't really have to worry about compliances and all of the regulations because all of these are taken care of inside the platform. So once you register with them, they'll pretty much take care of it. The second and most fascinating part about Harbor is that they're doing something called bundles. So bundles are basically, it's a low cost effective way of diversifying your portfolio into real estate. So you say that, hey, look, because there is fractionalized ownership and there is individual asset ownership as well on the platform, then they can pretty much go ahead and buy all of the equity of a particular neighborhood or a city or a building type, and these can be bundled up into funds which can then again be sold. So this sounds a little bit complicated, but to put it into perspective, it's something of the sort of a mini REIT. So that's pretty much what it is. But these REITs, again, like REITs are vehicles that allow again people to invest into real estate that they can't afford themselves. But these are highly regulated, and this is a very new thing in India. So let's see how well it's going to do. There's a lot of attention around it. A lot of people are watching to see how everyone reacts. And it wasn't too long ago before Embassy Park launched the first REIT in India. So if you guys are invested, you can start investing into their REIT. And so that's what it is. It's a mini REIT without the regulations and or without the restrictions that the regulatory body put on REITs. So that's pretty much what this is, and this could have a lot of impact when it comes to development of rural areas in India. We could see a system of where we have the urban population going ahead and crowdfunding pools of money to invest into the infrastructure and development of rural areas, which then again benefits them because at the end of the day, better infrastructure and better development in rural areas will lead to not only the holistic appreciation of the particular area but even the land value. So that's something that's great, and it could have a lot of implications. So let's look at where they're applying blockchain right now and what it does for them. So their blockchain basically is going ahead and storing all of the investment details. So you have access for all of the details anytime at your Harbor account. So if you want to go ahead and look at your own portfolio, want to look at who else has invested into this particular project, all of that data is available. You have the documentation completely on the platform, so all the regulation and signing of the documents and access of these documents will entirely happen over the platform. And finally, you have the transaction history, so you can ensure that all of your activities and your performance of the portfolio and all your dividends everything is coming on time and in a compliant manner. So all of this is basically something that the blockchain is used for. And as we mentioned before, that compliance is also managed on Harbor's blockchain. So how they do it is they pretty much looked at the problem first, which is looking at tokenized investments can only be transferred if they satisfy the applicable rules in Harbor's blockchain. So this makes compliance with securities and regulations and other relevant rules very simple for them, from issuance of secondary transfers and wherever they occur. So the secret in Harbor's compliance protocol is the R token standard. So that's what they call it. And they have a white paper on the website which you can go ahead and look at it. But it's pretty much a standard blockchain for going ahead and providing a digital token for an asset. And that's you do all of the fundraising, you do all of these bundles using the same token. So it's an all-involved platform to buy, sell, and even get a diversification option for people who are investing micro amounts into real estate. So it's big. And this will entirely change the real estate market as we know it. It's just beyond tokenization and looking at the potential applications of the technology and pushing its limits to disrupt the industry that is highly illiquid and has the pace of Internet Explorer browser on a 7-year-old laptop when it comes to adopting technology. So this is big for the industry. And there are a lot of companies like Fluidity, who's a big one to watch as well in the tokenization world. But the fundamental shift that has really come into real estate is from players like Zillow and Trulia, who are pretty much platforms for buying and selling real estate. And these guys are garnering a lot of attention because people did not think that real estate could be sold online. People always believe that the person has to go ahead and look at the property. But there are players like Zillow who are actually going ahead and disrupted this entire thought process. So where exactly is the market for this? Because you can definitely ask the question that who are the people who are looking at going ahead and investing without even seeing the property. So this in the early days could be very speculative because investors always said that the realtors would go out of business if something like this happens, and they would definitely need to be there because people need to have a person or a voice telling them that okay, yeah, this is the right investment. That makes it a lot easier for them, especially having gone and seen the property themselves. It will also create a sense of security around it. But Zillow has created a platform that makes it easier for sellers and realtors to reach a wider audience. And that's the main part of it. Because they've been able to reach a wider audience, they have been able to capture certain, or say a certain niche of the particular real estate industry, where there are some people who are saying that okay, yeah, I'm not really interested in going ahead and seeing the property, but I'd rather just go and buy it directly because of, say for example, their ability to gauge the property, or their ability to or their experience in having been around that neighborhood or somewhere near that house, or knowing someone who's owned that house before. There could be a myriad of reasons, but what they have done is they have just reached a wider pool, and the market has found itself. So they didn't really go ahead and start targeting by saying that, hey, look, are you one person who likes to take the risk of going ahead and investing into properties without looking at them? They didn't do that. Instead, they just went ahead and created a platform to reach a wider audience, and the market kind of evolved on its own to join these guys. And now we're seeing a fundamental shift because Zillow has over 200 million active users on their website, and they're doing billions of dollars worth of turnover per year. So they have given us a really good proof of concept, and what they're really telling us is that democratization of this particular asset class is the way forward. Because looking at not only the fact that information on these assets is becoming something that's incredibly powerful, be it home buyers, be it real estate agents, or be it even commercial real estate investors, everyone wants an easy and open access to the real estate data. Zillow was and still is a pioneer of data transparency in the real estate industry. So they founded their business on making real estate information easily accessible to everyone and won customers' loyalty by empowering people with the information that only real estate professionals could previously access. So that is their key focus, and with the ability to go ahead and create an easier access and and more liquidity into the platform, or into this asset class, is just a system of creating a disruption in the industry that was never thought about before. So that's something that's really exciting that's going on in the blockchain space, and we are really excited to see what Harbor does with mini REITs. And let's see, we'll be going ahead and bringing more of these kind of podcasts where we talk about one industry in particular, and we go ahead and look at what the trends are and what are some of the companies in blockchain that are actually disrupting this space or helping to disrupt them. So if you guys like this kind of format, just let us know, just comment down below, and we'll give you more of these. And thanks for tuning in, guys.